Depending on which commenter you ask, I either love Creation Club to a fault and Bethesda literally sends me money each month to cover it, or I'm way too harsh on Creation Club and I'm totally unfair in my analysis. My actual opinion is, I think a lot of the recent Creation Club releases have been looking more promising, and even though they're still arguably not entirely worth the money, there definitely has been a steady upward trend over the past few months and even weeks. Well, in my eyes, that all comes to an end today, because I don't think the new Creation Club releases I'm going to be showing you look all that promising. So this is something Bethesda has been doing as of late, showing us some new things that will release in Creation Club a little bit down the line in a teaser on the forum, so I would expect these to release in the next couple of days. So a brief summary of what we're looking at. The first one is the Settlement Ambush Kit. Tired of being taken aware by the Commonwealth's deadliest foes, now you can turn the tables with the Settlement Ambush Kit. By setting up a specific radio beacon or bait at your settlements, you can lure enemies in and have automated defense cut them to ribbons. And best of all, you can watch the action unfold remotely utilizing a brand new security camera system. Alright, so this one sounds particularly interesting. It definitely seems like it's going to add in an interesting new mechanic. More or less, there'll be a radio you can place down now at some point. It seems like it's going to look very similar to the Settlement Recruitment Beacon or even some of the other radio beacons already in Fallout 4, just kind of with a bit of a retexture. Then of course the camera mechanic of this also looks particularly interesting. Based off what we're seeing in the background, it almost seems like it's going to be a set of monitors you kind of set up. If that is the only way to actually view these cameras, it's probably going to be fairly crude and not exactly high quality. It's not like you're getting a first-person view like you'd get in a game like Rainbow Six Siege or something like that. And although I've always been in support of Creation Club releases that do add in new mechanics into the game like this, I just have to really question this particular mechanic. Have you ever really had problems dealing with people attacking your settlement? After you get like 1, 2, 3, 4 turrets down, isn't it largely a non-issue? And even just in practice, I'm kind of curious as to how this is going to work. Alright, you get an alert that something is going on at your settlement, you fast travel to it, and then what, stand in front of the monitors to watch some combat take place? At least to me, that just doesn't sound particularly enticing, or at least not as enticing as actually just being involved in that combat. I don't know, I'll reserve full judgment until this does come out, but it definitely doesn't seem like something that would honestly be useful in game. And then secondly, we actually have some content from Skyrim. This being called the Fantasy Hero Set. Move over Grognak. There's a new hero in town. Embark on a quest. Retrieve the helmet and sword of a true warrior of legend, and cleave a path of victory through the entire Commonwealth. This is one I actually speculated pretty heavily on because I thought this could be particularly interesting. In the previous kind of Creation Club releases, we found out that Dova would be the file name for one of the up-and-coming releases that will likely correspond to this one, seemingly adding in a Skyrim-inspired sword and helmet. And as far as this goes, depending on the price, and I guess it really is going to come down to how cool of a quest it actually implements, I could just see this being a hard pass. A little fun fact about Bethesda modding, you actually can't port content from one game into another, so even though the engine of Fallout 4 and Skyrim is very similar, and it would be fairly simple to actually take some of the items from Skyrim and put them into Fallout 4 as a downloadable mod, you're actually not allowed to do that based on Bethesda's terms of service. Even though you could reuse content from the current game in that game, you can't actually use content from one game in another game. So based on the images, it doesn't seem like these got a huge facelift or any crazy new features for Fallout 4. Maybe there's a few additional weapon modifications or something like that. But depending on how much content this adds in, there's literally a power armor that is a full custom set of power armor that is Skyrim inspired for Fallout 4, and in addition adds in what looks like a nigh identical sword that is slightly higher quality with custom modifications. In concept, I actually think the Fantasy Hero set could have been quite cool. Let's say they add in maybe a few pieces of armor and weapons from a number of other Bethesda games, like maybe this one from Skyrim, but then also one from Morrowind, Oblivion, etc., etc. I think that would have been really cool. Maybe even some of the ones from some of the older Fallouts, but unfortunately, if it's just broken down to one helmet and one sword, there are a plethora of better options out there right now. So that's my take on these new releases. Again, I'm not super impressed. I definitely think they could do better, and hopefully they will do better in the future. But if you guys watched my video from a few days ago, basically a 1-year review of Creation Club thus far, you'll know that Bethesda has kind of been doing this the whole way. There'll be minor or incremental improvements and a hope or a prospect of things being better, but they never really end up being better. Either way, as always, again, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you are enjoying the content. This is like my second video from my new apartment. I'm just now kind of getting situated, so if things sound a little bit off, hopefully it'll be all resolved in the next few days. But yeah, new Creation Club stuff. I'll probably make a video on it as long as it is at least decent. But as always, again, I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.
Add a few ounces. Good night, sweet prince. Here's to all the old days. It's going to be an awkward conversation with Darla's parents when